Hello and welcome to the Monday Funcast. You boys ready to have some fun?
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm fucking talking. I need some energy like that. Thank you, guys. But no, I was got a few things lined up. Probably I'm gonna say if you're reading the title, you see it obviously. But kind of do our top 3 TV shows. Obviously, we got to talk about football. We're not that creative, with only one list. And then just a couple other things to wrap up with our kind of movie minute with a couple shows we're watching here. But more importantly, Clark, what you drinking there?
So I took a page out of Trent's book because he had been hitting the old fashions very hard. And I was in Walmart. I looked over my shoulder. I'm like, maraschino cherries. This is like meant to be. I gotta buy those. So cheers.
There you go. Old fashioned in honor of our friend Trent. Rest in peace. I don't know if he'll come back to the pod. He might be on later, but
I feel like that open bar there on the old ARRT tab has probably done him in.
If he's not on the college pod, then it might have. He might be done for. So Ryan, what do you got?
Once Minneapolis has you, you're never coming back.
There you go.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't get started on fire or anything.
Oh, Lord. What you got drinking there, Ryan?
So we've been watching a lot of Yellowstone. We're going with the Barrel Golden or the Coors Banquet beer there.
Excellent. Can't go wrong with Coors. And then I'm being the lame-o. I'm just drinking just water here. So
agua. H2O.
I gotta get hydrated after this weekend of watching all this TV. I was just drinking a bunch of soda pop, so I gotta the older I get, I found like the less I've been drinking water, just kind of laying around pop. Yeah, I kind of feel like not only just a piece of shit, but just feel like shit because I'm dehydrated.
There's water in beer.
Oh,
yeah.
There's more water in my water. And my mother would hate to hear this, but I will put some ice out and put in a little glass of water, a lot of ice, and put it out like an hour before, and then I'll just chew ice for like 45 minutes. My mouth's never colder. But the ice is half melted, so it's not bad for my teeth either, I tell myself.
There you go.
I don't know if there's any scientific proof, but I guess if you see teeth start falling out, then it's because I was chewing ice this whole time. So
it wasn't the sugary pops; it was the chewing of ice.
Yeah, it's not all of the terrible food, the Arby's, the everything else I do bad in my life. It was the chewing ice occasionally that done me in for. So, but we'll kind of jump into it. Like I said, we've kind of been enjoying doing these lists, and if anyone has any suggestions, feel free to send them in to us here. But we'll kind of shorten this one up just because they can go a little long. Just top 3 TV shows. I'm sure everyone else has their honorable mentions, but we'll just kind of do the top 3 here. Would one of you guys want to start us here?
Go ahead, Clark. This was your idea for the list today.
All right. Well, top number 1. Wait, no. Are we gonna start at the bottom?
I was gonna go from least favorite to favorite. I guess third favorite to most favorite.
All right. So I'm gonna start with my number 3 top show of all time, Dexter.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's been a while since I watched it, but that was definitely one show that, like, once I started, I could not get enough. And it's one of those shows you just had to keep binging. Like, it was great.
I did not watch it as it was like actually a show.
Neither did I.
Then Beck, she forced me to watch it 2 years ago or last winter or something. Great show. It was a fantastic show.
Yep.
Clark, you know what you missed there, and it was the biggest meme, and the only thing I know from Dexter is you were supposed to surprise us with your pick by going, "Surprise, motherfucker!" You started with that, man.
That's a season 1 just gem right there, Bryant. Way to go.
I will say I think Debbie is one of my least favorite characters of all time.
Yeah.
She just annoys me.
Not great.
All right. But I don't know anything about Dexter, just Debbie or Skylar White. Just that's where I need the range.
She's not as bad as Skylar.
Okay. All righty.
Have you watched the spin-off that Amazon did or whatever last year, or Showtime did, but I think it's on Amazon. New Blood or whatever.
No,
We haven't either yet.
that's the one where he's like up in Alaska, right?
Yeah.
I think I saw previews, but I have not watched it.
Well, when you get to that, you let us know. Otherwise, yeah, spin-offs just kind of I think the only positive spin-off I've ever heard is Better Call Saul. I mean, I'm trying to rattle my brain off of.
We can. I don't know what you think, but Parks and Recreation was kind of a spin-off, and that was all right. That was pretty good.
I guess I would say like spin-off is like here's a character from like when Friends went to Joey and made that terrible season of a TV show. But yeah, Parks and Rec is kind of the same mold. I know what you're saying. I don't want to discredit Parks and Rec.
It's
Parks
not
and Rec is one of my honorable mentions. I almost put it in that 3
great
spot.
show. That's where we got Chris Pratt, and yeah, it was a good show.
Oh god, I won't go into a tangent on this, but there is like a thread online about how because people don't like Chris Pratt now, and they're saying he was he was enabling fat culture because that was when he was funny on the show, and then once he got like favorable and everyone loved him, then he just got skinny again. It's like, well, no one likes the hot guy. We want you to be fat and fat and funny is all.
Was he skinny before that role, or was he always just kind of that type of character? And then
do you remember the movie Wanted with James McAvoy? Angelina Jolie showed her butt in the hot tub scene, and you could wrap bullets around shit.
I remember the bullets, not the rest of that.
Well, you liked the second best part of the movie. Yeah, Chris Pratt was skinny in that movie, and that was like one of his debut movies.
Okay.
That and Moneyball. He was in Moneyball. That was kind of before he was huge.
He was medium in that. He was kind of like like flabby, but still in shape.
I feel like he was kind of just started out flabby though, and like Parks and Rec, he wasn't really fat.
No.
So
did either of you watch it's a terrible movie. It's got him and Topher Grace and Anna Faris. Take Me Home Tonight.
I think so. God, it has been so long though.
Terrible movie, but he wasn't that big in that movie. He wasn't built or anything, but he wasn't that big.
Yeah, then Marvel said, here's a paycheck, get fucking ripped, and then he was Star-Lord after that. So
the funny thing about him is I think he's a very likable guy. He doesn't like people hate him for his religious stuff, but it's not like he throws that in your face. He just lives his life, and people dig into his life enough to say, oh, he's a terrible person, when he's never really done anything.
I don't like him at times because I remember that he divorced Anna Faris, broke her heart. That's it. Fuck him for that.
Fair.
So all right, number 2, Clark.
This could take all night.
Are we going through my list all here, or you guys want to give your number 3s, or?
I don't care. I thought you were just gonna go through your
all
list.
Right. Well, my number 2 on my list is The Office.
Solid.
Yeah, it definitely makes a run for number 1, but
Now, are you a Michael Scott era snob, or are you okay with the whole series, including Robert California?
I'm okay with the whole series, but definitely the Michael Scott era is the best part.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. But I just hate the people that are like, once he leaves, I gotta restart. What the fuck? It's the whole show. You can't just.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You miss out on some of the best Michael Scott parts if you don't watch the rest of it.
Now, I say that, and one of you made your picks on specific seasons, and I agree with that 100% because there's a little bit more than a guy wanted to move on in his career, So
look at this chump.
So I will say I love the Robert California season. Like, I thought he was a funny character, and the more I watch him, it makes me laugh even more. There's a total of 9 seasons, wasn't there?
Yes.
Season 8 was very rough. I have a very hard time getting through season 8.
Yeah.
I think the best way I heard, it was Uncle Chaps from Barstool. He said, if you ever are the people that binge it and watch it straight through, you have to watch the Michael Scott era and then you have to take a 2-week break, or like enough of a time where there's a break, and then you watch the Robert California and the different managers, and it's pretty funny actually. But like when you're going against one of the GOAT TV show characters of all time, yeah, these absolutely suck ass. I mean, come on.
And at the time, I didn't respect Robert California enough as a character because I was like, well, he's no Michael Scott. But the more and more I watched it, I love that character.
Yeah, James Spader's been growing on me the last few years with how good he is at acting.
Yeah. Kevin Malone's the best character in the show, though. So
Creed Bratton.
Oh Lord! Well, that might be a separate debate, but I'm going to leave you two to it. But.
So we actually have we're going to the office trivia at one of the breweries tomorrow.
There you go.
Nice.
Sorry, late to the wedding.
Yes. So yeah, and actually I think he's going to be there. So our pastor that married us, we we go through 8 weeks or 10 weeks of premarital counseling and stuff with him. And usually our counseling sessions took about an hour, about 20 minutes to go over the lesson and 40 minutes to go over TV shows, The Office, all that stuff. And I haven't rewatched the video, but our wedding ceremony, he had no less than 10 Office references in it.
Oh my Lord.
It was incredible.
It was quite a lot. It was pretty impressive.
The Jim found his Pam. I mean, that's the most obvious one, right?
No, he didn't use that one.
He started off with
the Ryan.
Webster's dictionary defines wedding as two medals.
I mean, that is a solid one, but oh man,
it was perfect for my wife and I. It fit us.
Good.
Well, moving on from my number 2 pick of The Office, my all-time number 1, hands down, best show.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad.
Absolutely.
I still haven't seen it.
No.
What are you waiting for? Jesus, Ryan.
Oh, I don't think you need to give
greatest show of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I need an explanation. Why not, man?
I'm really bad at getting into shows with hour-long episodes. I'm so bad at it.
So you only need to invest. You only need to invest about 80 hours of your time, Ryan.
My attention span does not work well with that. And I'm one of those people. I'm not a hipster, but I'm a hipster towards Breaking Bad. And I was the same way with the Transformers movies, where everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, this is incredible," and I'm like, I'm sure it is. I just don't want to. I can't invest. My mind doesn't let me invest that much time into it.
Oh,
I feel like I'm moving that way, Ryan. Like I have a hard time like sitting down just to watch The Last of Us, and that's a great one that's happening right now. And I have a hard time like dedicating, like, okay, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna watch this episode. Like it doesn't happen. So
what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go to you guys every week. Oh my gosh, do you want to hear what happened on episode 5? Like
I'll talk to you about
15 years ago.
you could be like, oh, this happened. We'll be like, But
yeah. I was the same way with the Transformers movies too. I didn't watch them because everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, it's amazing." I'm like, okay, you cannot put Shia LaBeouf and amazing in the same sentence. You just
you can.
Yeah. You can put Megan Fox in her prime underneath the hood of that car in amazing in the same sentence, and I would say that's an understatement.
Yeah,
so
that's very so yeah. I mean, in having a daughter now makes it a little harder to find time because. I mean, Beck and I have our shows we want to watch, so me to start a whole new series on my own, I have a hard time finding time to watch the new Beavis and Buttheads, let alone,
I feel a little guilty. I'm at home on Wednesdays, and I feel guilty trying to put The Last of Us on. Here's some zombies running around on TV with like lots of scary sounds. Don't worry, child. It's not going to hurt you, okay? Like I feel extremely guilty trying to do that, so.
I was going to say the one point I get is I get when everyone tells you this is the greatest thing you're ever going to see, watch it. And I understand they're like, well, if it's not the greatest thing, it's going to be an understatement. Trust me, it is worth the 80 hours. And hell, set a timer for 30 minutes and get halfway through the episode, end of a scene, and just end it. But I'm telling you, you got to get through it, dude. Because it's just like when people are talking about The Wire and Sopranos, I have a tough time with it just because it's been so long ago and you're seeing like even outdated technology now. But I know I got to power through it because I know it's some of the best television that's ever been created.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I just never got to it.
We're gonna keep hammering home until you actually listen to us. This is when bullying works. Is when people are intentionally making bad decisions, not watch all-time great television. You just need to watch it.
All right, moving on to the next person's list.
I think after all the grief Ryan got, I think he's got to do his top 3 now.
All right, what was my top 3? So my third one was really hard because it's like my third 3A and 3B are going on right now, so it's like it's hard to say. I'm just gonna throw out The Mandalorian as my number 3. The other one was Barry, but Mandalorian seems like a series I can watch again, and it's easy watching. There's some humor to it, and it's just a good show, fun show. Baby Yoda is an icon too. Number 2, this was the one you mentioned with certain seasons. House of Cards season 1 through 5.
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey was absolutely phenomenal in that show, and without him, there is no House of Cards. He was an amazing character. He really was. And I never even watched season 6.
Okay, so it ended at season 6. I couldn't remember if it was season 6 or season 7. The last season did taper off a bit because you could already see what move. I don't think the plan was to kill him off originally, but then Kevin Spacey happened in real life, so they had to just kill him at that point. But it is funny if you're a nerd like me and you like to look at IMDb scores and like analytics and stuff. Literally, all of them are probably like high 7 at very worst episode to mid 9s because it's that good of. You get to season 6, the highest one is like low 6s. It's just absolute dog shit because it's like, how do you take the very main? Hey, we're gonna watch Better Call Saul, and Saul's gone now. He's just not in a whole season.
Like, and then what was the end of season 2 or 3 where he's at the desk in the Oval Office and he just stares into the camera and then does the knock on the desk. Yeah. Like that just gives you chills. Like just an awesome scene.
I'm pretty sure for the longest time that was the knock at the beginning when you'd open Netflix.
Yes.
The doom doom. That's him knocking on the desk. That's iconic.
That was kind of their first like big series, wasn't it?
That was their first series, and it was the first show ever that they released all at once rather than the week by week basis. So if everyone hates or loves the bingeability of shows now, House of Cards is the one that broke that.
Yeah, and they won a shit ton of awards those years too.
Yep.
And then number 1, I'll finish off with The Office. Just an amazing show and easy to watch, and I think I've watched it about 10 times all the way through.
I agree. Trent, you want to go or you want me to jump in here?
Go. I'll do mine here. So at number 3, I have The Last of Us. I know we're not even all the way through the first season, but I love this show. It's, you guys know me that I don't sit down and watch a new series much. You guys talk me into amazing. So Last of Us is my number 3. Now, full through the first season, this could go up. It could jump to number 1, could jump to number 2. It could fall out depending on what happens. But right now, I'm totally into this show. Number 2, I put South Park because that's just my show that if it's on, in the background, I don't even have to pay attention to it. It's just on. Or, if there's nothing else on, and every episode's hilarious. So South Park, and the newer episodes, I just think they're getting better because they're current events, and I think that's what's going on in the world.
I think we've gotten so many catchphrases from the show. I mean, how often are you? No one can be named Timmy now because you think of Timmy from South Park.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were younger, you couldn't go respect my authority, and everyone did their Cartman voices. It is iconic, and how they're still going, and how they've gotten better, like you said, with the very episodic episodes, and then now they're season long stories, and they got better.
Yeah, it's a season-long story that have to do with. They had the pandemic ones where to go into, was it Denny's? You had, if you're making fun of masks, you have to put it on to walk to your booth, but with your pajamas off. Like, it just stuff like that. It's hilarious.
Oh. That specific one, the best part was the TV reporter, because nowadays everyone likes to this is not just bad, this is the worst thing that's ever happened. And the reporter slowly going from TV reporter to Nazi German because of how he was oppressed in that episode. Guten Tag, Tom, and Heil Hitler. He's like reporting on the school in a full getup and shit. Oh no, that is an excellent episode. And they just keep getting better, dude. I agree.
South Park is my top 3, and number 1 series of all time, Breaking Bad. So I didn't as well, but I didn't want to do 2/3 of mine a Breaking Bad theme. That's also good, but Breaking Bad from shows in, like we've been talking, if you want, Ryan, after the first couple episodes, don't give up on it. Like, it kind of starts, it picks up, it gets really good. So that's why it is my number 1.
I liked my list for you better.
Which one was that?
Pawn Stars After Dark. The show where the two Iowans go and screw old people out of antiques.
Shit. What the
Pickers?
hell?
American Pickers, yeah.
American Pickers.
So I couldn't think of the name at the time, so that's the description I put.
So once Ryan did that, I changed it back. I just screenshot it. I'll send it to you guys.
The best is
say it on air. I'll say it.
I mean, since we're laughing, you probably shouldn't.
Oh Lord.
Some people may not find it as funny as we do, but
in American Pickers, it is pretty funny how they're just like, hey, what you gonna do with that old 1923 Coke sign? Do you want that, or is that? It's just like very clearly they're pointing out the one valuable thing in this pile of shit in this barn that has been open in 30 years. Are you sure you want that?
Yeah, and that's
all in one piece 1918 Model T. You interested in keeping that? Like, of course, man.
I like how it's like a 75-year-old car that's just rusted outside. There's a tree growing through it. What would you take for that? Well, I was gonna fix that up. It's like 55 years. No, you weren't.
Yeah. They screw people out of money, and there's people that are so far into their brain, like, no, I can fix it. It's like, just get rid of it, man. It's like people on Facebook Marketplace. This car has no battery. There's a door missing. You're gonna have to replace all 4 tires. $4,500, and I will only take cash. Go fuck yourself, man. Like, you're on Facebook Marketplace at this point. Just get rid of it.
Trent, where does Big Brother land on your list?
Ooh, Big Brother? I used to watch Big Brother back in the day. It's been a while, but Big Brother, probably 10 years. There was a time I wanted to be on Big Brother.
I think Big Brother is still on. Did you know Survivor's still on?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
They're on season 44 right now.
Of Survivor?
How many times can you survive before they're like, we've went through every tropical island, every climate, we're at the end. But Jeff Probst, I mean, fucking, that guy fell into a gig two decades ago, and he's just been raking in that Survivor money.
Is it this? It's the same guy?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jeff Probst's net worth. Guess how much he's first off, guess what his salary is, and then guess what his net worth is.
Oh God.
Net worth $44 million.
God damn, that was close. $50 million net worth.
So what'd you make? Like Was he make 50 grand an episode?
It
More?
says $8 million. I'm assuming that's a year. But I mean, if he's been doing this for the last decade, that's spending $30 million worth of shit. I mean, the math makes sense in my simple Iowa brain.
Our episode of Survivor aired after a Super Bowl, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. I think
I
so.
remember watching it Super Bowl. Yeah. Like 22 years ago, probably.
I feel like they're still trying to do that with new shows. Oh, watch this new show right after the Super Bowl.
Although I remember one of the most iconic Office episodes airing after the Super Bowl.
Which one was that?
The CPR one.
Oh,
that was after the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it was like a 1 hour. It was a 1 hour event after the Super Bowl because it's 2 episodes. But yeah,
still one of the greatest clips of that show yet.
That and Dinner Party are my 2 favorite.
So, well, I'm going to jump into mine now. I'm going to preface this is I knew Breaking Bad and The Office were going to be on this list, and I took them out. I think those ones, I know that's not going to make a true top 5, but just to be a snob like that and to get different answers, those ones just transcend a top 5. Of course, they're going to be in a lot of people. So, my number 3 right now, and it's my favorite comedy that's been on TV, is 30 Rock. And I don't know that a lot of people have watched it, but that might have the most jokes per minute. And so many, you have to pay attention, not like Letterkenny because they're talking too fast, but because they have a lot of flashbacks, and they've made so many references. I wouldn't say like The Simpsons, but there are references of like one of their fake TV shows is called MILF Hunter, and now there's a show called MILF Island 20 years later, So I mean, and they've had so many cameos in that show. So many great characters. Absolutely love 30 Rock. We
need to have a MILF Island watch along.
I already got it DVR'd, my friend. Number two, I've actually been changing my list because one of you talked about rewatchability, and I think that is a major factor because I had Chernobyl on here, and I think that's a great TV show. I'm probably never going to watch it again. Yeah, that was my number 1, and I was like, you know what, you got to be able to rewatch it, So I changed that up. I'm just gonna.
So I just so I could watch The Last of Us last night, I got an HBO Max for the month. I saw Chernobyl's on there. I might watch it.
Power through it, dude. It is absolutely.
Dude, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So, number 2, just with recency bias, and the final season's coming up, it's Succession. Something about that show. The show is who's gonna be the boss, and Brian Cox does a fantastic job. Shiv has a fucking badonk on her. It is absolutely insane. Macaulay Culkin's younger brother's in there. Jeremy Strong. I mean, I'm making fun of it, but it is absolutely one of my favorite shows because it's just there has not been a bad episode of that yet. And then final one, which has had a lot of bad episodes, but there's just been so many of it, and I've been starting to rewatch it, is just Game of Thrones. I mean, Joey talks about how he's on his multiple rewatchings of Game of Thrones. The early seasons had so many how many great writing seasons, so much great dialogue. You were talking earlier, Ryan, about how man, it would kind of suck if you did if I watched Breaking Bad and guess what happened in episode 5. I love hearing people when they're talking about Game of Thrones oh, I love season 1. I absolutely love Ned Stark. I go, okay, let's talk in a week. Let's just keep watching the show and let me know how you feel about it. And I hear about what happens at the end of season 1, and then you hear about the Red Wedding, and then you hear about when they saw the walkers for the first time. I mean, it's like reliving those landmarks all over again. Now, a couple seasons kind of sucked. They got shit on. I don't think they're as bad as people alluded to because the show was just that great before that. So I would say right now, just number 1, Game of Thrones.
Another show that I haven't seen.
Game of Thrones. Power through it, dude. And that's another one, like you said.
The only issue I have with that is I hear the finale is just absolutely fucking terrible. And if I know that the finale is terrible, I loved How I Met Your Mother. Mm-hmm. That was one of the worst finales on the planet. Just to me, that whole final season was almost an insult to everyone that actually watched the series. Mm-hmm. And my wife and I tried starting to watch it last year, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, fuck, I know how this ends. I don't want to go through the misery of that freaking final season again.
Oh, but like same thing with that. There's so many great episodes along the way
So
they get to, but
so many great episodes, but it's like,
Mhm.
man, I'm just gonna be disappointed at the end.
I don't know if I'm allowed to watch Game
that's
of Thrones. My wife, she's a Game of Thrones purist.
Yeah.
So I guess I
Oh.
would start it because she will not
Trent's
watch
only
anything.
allowed to read the book.
She will not watch it's happened after the books. So she's only seen through season 5 and refuses read anything after that until the books come out. So
Well, she's gonna be waiting a long time.
I could start it, but
they make a joke in a Lucky Logan where it talks about how The Winds of Winter is the next book that's supposed to come out. And they're like, no, they're talking about on the TV show because they had to like move on in HBO. They couldn't wait for George R.R. Martin to come out with the book. And it pretty funny. See, it's like 5 minutes of them arguing back and forth about how it's not actually out there. The TV show is, but the book isn't. How could the book not be out? It's been out. It's been 15 years. George R. R. Martin, get the fucking book done, dude. You're going to die soon. We just see it.
Dude,
it's about to happen. You know?
I've called it forever. I was like, he's just gonna let HBO do it, and then he's just gonna copy it. That was easy.
Yeah. Well, and he saw the reception that was bad, so maybe he changes things up. And there's a lot of things that they did not follow from the book either. So, I mean, yeah, it kind of had a shitty ending, but it wasn't what he was alluding to in all these books. So Joey can speak more to it. I just have to know that people are pissed off about how they veered off and rushed through it. And then they lost the project that they were going to do anyway. So it was all literally for nothing. I think that's the big sting in it.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Joey, what's his list, Bryant?
Number 3, Game of Thrones, just went over that. Number 2, The Office that we've all talked about, and then Joey's. This one, I think it's the same thing as it's the main characters. True Detective season 1, which I've seen that one, and it is fantastic. I mean, it is probably
aren't the following seasons completely different stories?
Yes, yeah. So it's like I don't know how to. Is it called anthropologies? Where it's So it's an anthropology on season 2, 3, and now there's going to be an all-female 4th season, which that's always good for a franchise when when they have to go all-female. They're definitely not going woke. It's because it alludes to a better story.
I wanted to bring, I guess that since you mentioned that, last week when you gave your Cocaine Bear review, that was not Elizabeth Banks' first production directing.
What was her first?
The all-female Charlie's Angels. Or I guess that is all female, but like the Charlie's Angels with Kristen Stewart and that a couple of years ago that just completely bombed.
Oh, I was trying to help her out by not bringing attention to that one.
Yeah, I think Cocaine Bear was actually supposed to be her redemption movie where she wasn't finding a whole lot of work after that real stinker.
Oh, was she the one where she was Bosley or some shit or whatever the hell, the guy that speaks on the radio?
Might have been, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that was the twist. It's like instead of a man, it's another woman. Yeah. Oh boy.
Yep.
I remember that one. Okay. Yeah, I didn't watch it, but I just know you can just see a trailer nowadays that when you watch plenty movies, you go bad. You already just know it's going to be bad. Yeah. Saw the first trailer for Cocaine Bear. I go bad but funny. Okay, we're going to go to it.
There's bad but entertaining, and there's bad. This just sucks.
Bad, but not supposed to be a cinematic masterpiece.
Yeah. I saw a preview, speaking of trailers, knowing if a movie is going to be bad or not, and it was for Scream 6. And I don't know if it's going to be good or bad. The only thing I took away from it was Courtney Cox, just wear a bra, please. You're past that age. Just wear a bra, please. For the love of God.
On Twitter, there's a post from Cocaine Bear advertising that guy has to wear a mask. I'm just a bear on cocaine.
Yeah. my favorite meme from Cocaine Bear is it's like when a different Coke bear gets a movie and it's the Coca-Cola bear, like polar bear looking all shocked and stuff. I like that meme.
To go to TV shows, so I mentioned we're watching a lot of Yellowstone now, and that's working up my list to being a pretty damn good show. We just started season 4. Or season 3. What are we on? Either way, the last episode of the prior season and the first episode of the season we're on now has to be two of the most intense and awesome consecutive episodes of any TV show I've ever watched.
Nice. Well, yeah. Well, I haven't been able to. I don't have Paramount, and I'm not going to buy. That's one of those. I'll probably wait till it's done. But
Yeah,
I'll
we're
be honest.
watching it on Peacock.
Oh, on Peacock. Well, I could. That is one of those when I go home. Parents love Yellowstone, and I can watch every episode of it. It doesn't matter where the story is at because it's just that good of a show where you know the main general characters. And I mean, I've not seen one bad episode yet.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, season 3 going into season. Yeah, so the last episode of season 3 going into the first season of episode of season 4. Freaking awesome. Absolutely amazing.
Hell yeah. Well, and say, was there any other TV show? Had anyone else seen True Detective season 1 yet?
No,
I watched it when it came out.
Yeah, that would be just added to the list, Ryan. We're gonna keep telling you great TV shows to watch until you get to it.
That I can do. That's one season. I can do that.
Yeah. Hour-long episodes. Matthew McConaughey, topless Alexandria Daddario. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in the show.
Yeah.
Have you seen the meme of Matthew McConaughey smoking a cigarette and he's looking intently in his phone? That's from that TV show. I mean, you got to see where the memes come from, dude.
That's the important stuff there.
Exactly. So, I was gonna say we should, because we have next NFL news. Should we just jump while we're in movie mode? Should we just do our 2-episode previews here?
Why not?
And say kind of keep it all in one little section here. We'll just jump into The Last of Us episode 9, When We Are in Need. Ellie is hunting. She's still trying to take care of excuse me, of Joel here. Shoots a deer. Kind of a small breakdown here. Shoots a deer. Runs into a couple grown men. They agreed to trade the deer, or half the deer at that time, for medicine. I don't know if you'd say they betrayed her, but they made sure.
Well, I mean, they weren't really trustworthy from the start.
Yeah, they weren't trustworthy, but they did bring in the medicine. They made the trade. It was supposed to be for half a deer for the medicine, but it turned into medicine to give you a head start because we know you and him are by yourself, and he is damn near dead. Then the hunt came along, which she ended up getting caught. She's in the jail. They have the kind of big epic fight at the end, and this is going to be spoiler. Let's just say happy ending. Yeah, I think we all know that when this is based on a video game, there's only one way the show is going to go.
I don't know about The Last of Us though. I don't know if there's such thing as a happy ending in The Last of Us.
Yeah, I don't think there's such thing as a happy ending. I am continued to be shocked on. They will literally show side by sides of scenes from the game and then from the show, and it is amazing how attentive to detail and how similar they actually are.
On this episode, they were very good at that. The jail scene, the final. I love the final fight because that felt like a video game boss. Like they did that so good. There's been how many games have had a boss set up like that, and they did so good with that.
That was, I would say, and that was where Joey texted us before that, and he was like, it is an intense episode. And I go, okay, I'll kind of anticipate. You hear intense, and that was absolutely, that was like kind of edge of your seat where it was one of those where at the end of the boss fight, if we're just going to use video game terms, you kind of realize, man, I haven't really breathed. You realize you're not breathing. You're kind of like at a standstill watching that scene. It was just so graphic and I would say rewarding, frankly, at the end.
And the interrogation scene too. That was basically shot for shot with the video game.
Yeah, Katrina
Clark.
So you said Joey texted how intense it was. Right before Joey texted me, Katrina texted me the same thing, and I was like, I'll watch it Wednesday when I get home. She's like, no. You're paying the $10 max for the month to watch this. And I was like, okay. And that I did.
Yeah.
Backing that guy up at the end.
Rebecca got home at like 9:45, and I'm like, nope, you're not showering. We are watching The Last of Us now. And we did.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
No, and like again, this is where like usually Marvel. I think Marvel burnt me out on it. I like to do a lot of research, so I knew exactly what's coming. I've been having such a blast on not doing any research and not expecting anything, you know. So all of a sudden it was going from teacher to preacher, which that should have kind of been enough as is. It's like, why would you want to go from from that profession? And then just he had that very creepy demeanor about him the whole time. I'm just gonna say pastor because I do not know. I can't remember his name. That's the worst part about this show is I don't want to learn anyone's names because they're probably going to be gone by the end of the episode.
There's James and the other guy was Dave. Dave was actually acted by. Dave was the guy that played Dave is actually the voice of Joel in the game.
Okay, I heard OG Joel the whole time, and I could not figure out.
Yeah, that was
they
Dave.
meant.
And James was the pastor.
Okay. I wouldn't say, but
see, I've never played the games. That's kind of what I like because I don't know what's going to happen. No clue.
I think Clark's the only one that has.
Bunch of losers.
I know. If I wasn't Team Xbox, I would. I was. There was one thing I hated missing last week because you guys had so much good content. I wish I could have been there. I agreed with Joey. Last week's episode felt like a filler, and it was excusable because it also seemed like it went hand in hand with the DLC that was with the game. But it could have been like, and I felt this way about episode 3, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate on this, the Frank and Steve or whatever. And 45 minutes of that episode had nothing to do with the main story. It was a very well done episode, but it had nothing to do with the main story. And I wish we could have gotten that 45 minutes back and the 45 minutes the week prior, because this show is so damn good when it I mean, it's good no matter what, but focusing on the main storyline, it's so amazing.
Yeah. There haven't been as many like the video game, like the clickers. We had that one huge fight scene when they're in Kansas City where the where the big enemies, thank you, the bloater came out, and that's the only one. Like, that's where I was almost, that's where the episodes, it was gradually, okay, you're introduced to the clickers, now here's clickers, oh, now here's a bloater. I thought it would continue down that path, and I agree. There's been a couple episodes like that. I almost feel like that makes these episodes that much better, though. Where now we are focusing on the main episode. I still maintain that, because, like I said, we never saw her kill Storm Reed, whatever her girlfriend's name was, but you never saw the end of that. I still allude they're going to show her killing her. That's what's going to be the her violent start, because again, you saw it once the whole rape scene was happening. You saw the violent heart. I think that's just survivor's mode at that point. Going after James, Dave, the rapist.
James.
James. Sorry,
James equals rape. Come on.
James. He's
no
other way to think about
James the rapist.
but they did such a good build up on that. I haven't, because like you said, they're doing kind of the interrogation scene, and then all of a sudden he goes soft, and we're the same. We get, and then you heard her even groan. She goes, "Oh," like realizing, "Oh, you want me to be your 14-year-old lover?" Okay, yeah, no.
And then throw cannibalism into it too.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about how they ate people. They really didn't. They showed a couple upside down dead people, but
the ear on the floor.
Yeah, I'll be honest, man. I'm not the cleanliest person, but if I do have something, I'm trying to be careful not to get out, passwords or what's on my search history or whatever. I'm not accidentally leaving my phone unlocked. I'm not what kind of fucking cannibals that are trying to hide it forgets there's an ear on the ground?
I knew it.
Terrible cleanliness.
They were in the kitchen and they're making he like throws the meat down and he's like, "What is it?" And they're like, he like pauses. No, it's not.
Oh,
it's that girl's dad.
Oh my God. I was just like, there was that brief pause when he said venison. I was like, I thought they killed a deer, but I don't know. I'm not the greatest hunter in the world. Oh my god, I'm a moron. How did I pick them up on that?
It took a while for me to put that together too, but it's like, oh, it's too cold out for us to bury the body, which is a good excuse. Don't get me wrong, great excuse, but an even better one if you want to eat the guy.
So I thought that too. I'm like, so when it does get warm, what are they going to bury? The guy's gone. They've eaten him.
Well, they did say they only had 2 weeks left of food. He was probably like, if we get that is future rapist problem, future James's problem. That's all he was worried about at that point. They also didn't set the meat before putting it in the stew. That's what Joey just put in there.
I don't know what he's trying to say.
Season?
I know
Season the meat.
Season. They didn't season it.
Season, yeah, they didn't put. Where is all of our onion?
Sears.
Which
I was gonna say they didn't brown it, but
I want to know what meat church seasoning goes on human.
Yeah, they didn't have enough garlic powder and onion powder, in my opinion. Salt,
Whoa! Don't you dare put onion powder on Joey's stew meat. How dare you?
And this was smoked.
Don't you dare put. Yeah, don't you dare put onion powder on that man. God.
Brought to you by Pit Boss.
Everything bagel.
If you're gonna, I will. I'll be honest. I mean, now that we're just talking about eating the people at this point, I mean, that ear's got to be really fucking chewy. There's a reason they didn't put it in the stew, right? I mean, it's got to be like gnawing on just like the fat on a steak. Just you can't just.
You're gonna wind them. You're gonna make that in a hamburger, ground beef.
Exactly. I mean, I can't think of one. I'm feeling my ear right now. I can't feel a one part and be like, that would be tender. I mean, it's all cartilage. It's just
how them tenderloins feeling, Bryant.
Yeah. Let me start feeling around what should be. You know, my tries. You know, my quads. Oh yeah, low carb cauliflower. Oh, okay.
The vegans. It's the cauliflower ear.
Yeah. Give it to the dogs or whatever out there. The non. But well, anything else about cannibal talk before we move on?
I'm just hoping that the season finale is like 2 hours long.
I bet you it's only 15 minutes longer, but it'll be worth it.
I think it'll be like the first episode. The first episode was an hour and a half.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
Honestly, they've been doing such a good job. I don't even worry about it. They're going to do a fantastic job. But speaking of people doing a fantastic job, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni. Mandalorian's back, just as good as ever. Chapter 17, The Apostate? Question mark? I'm Ron Burgundy. The Apostate, of course. So, for me, this felt like, hey, do you remember this character episode? Because it was, you went back and it was literally, hey, you remember Carl Weathers was in this show? Hey, do you remember C-3PO? There's another one, just different color. Remember Salacious B. Crumb in Jabba the Hutt's building? There's a tree full of them. That was this whole episode, I felt like.
It was a great episode, Bryant. It was hitting all the feels, man.
Yeah.
It was hitting fan service. I'll agree with that.
Who else got totally messed up at the beginning where we're like, oh, this is when Mando gets his helmet. And no, this is not Mando. This is, as a little kid. No, Mando comes and saves the day with a big alligator coming in.
It was a great start to the episode. Lots of action. I enjoyed it.
Brings you in right away. I will not get over how his ship isn't completely covered.
Why?
It just doesn't. I don't know. It's just like a car. Like, just imagine there's just. I'm driving my Chevy Cruze down the road and the back window's out, or there's like a door missing. Like, just cover the whole thing. Make it look nice, Mando.
What, are you worried that because he's in space, the vacuum of space is going to pull apart the pieces of his ship?
Hey,
that doesn't happen in Star Wars, Bryant. Jeez.
Hey, I get there's a lot of things that that don't make sense.
Atmospheres? You mean friction from all these exposed parts isn't going to cause a problem?
Yeah, multiple suns. I know. I'm just. It always just bothers me. Is like you think the CGI artist would also be like, hey, can we just make this so it's just a smooth part? And no, you're gonna
We did
show
that
this
in the
one
movies.
pipe.
We're past that, Bryant.
Yeah, I know. That's just me trying to find. It was a great episode. It was just there's just a bunch of. Remember this character? Hey, remember Babu Frick from the new trilogy no one likes? There's a clan of them now. Check that little door down there. That was all this episode was to me.
It was quick though. Quick 30 minutes, that's for sure.
Yes.
Now they supposedly have season 4 already wrote, so hopefully we don't have to wait 2 years after this is done.
Wrote.
Granted, we only had the first episode, but.
Mm-hmm. So I didn't say, but who? So the does anyone remember who are what are the pirates? What are they? Who do they represent? They are from Carl Weathers' previous life, correct?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Sounds like he was doing deals with them, and now he's not. Now he's moving on, bettering himself, cleaned up the act, not working with pirates in any way or fashion, and the pirates aren't taking that easy. So
turning a bar into a school, who does that?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to if you change a bar to a. Oh shit! I was getting it mixed up. I was saying if you change a school to a bar, it has to be something like you have to call it like homework session or something, or you gotta like every college has like a bar called the library. So you text them, I'm going to the library tonight and drinking a couple beers.
Right along the interstate there. I think that's where most people got stabbed when we were in college.
Yeah, I think
sounds to me like you've got detention, Bryant. Better go serve your time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I was just going to say detention, Paul.
Yeah, I think because detention means you're a bad boy during the day, so you gotta make up for it, and you're gonna go do bad boy things, with just drinking at the bars with your bros,
Yep.
Yeah.
But it ends with a great moment too. He has a little run-in with the pirates in town there with Carl Weathers, and whenever he's leaving on about his business, he ends up in a little fight out there in space with starships.
Yeah, he did a little Top Gun Maverick maneuvers. He came in inverted,
Pedro has to be the best TV dad, doesn't he?
That'll be next week's pod. Best TV dads. I'm trying to think of who even the last place would be. Probably Gallagher from Shameless or some
Bill
shit.
Cosby.
Yeah. Well, in the show he was fine. In real life,
I think Brian nailed it there with Gallagher from Shameless. That's pretty bad.
Yeah. So, but no, then he faced off against Swamp Man. That was in the spaceship.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with him.
Yeah, I'm sure he was brought up in Star Wars lore from 14 years ago in one extra edition. I mean, with Star Wars, I don't even feign to try and keep up anymore. It's all these. Did you watch Clone Wars? It's only 6 seasons of all this. As much as we complain about good TV, I can't get too much into lore.
I have watched Clone Wars, and I couldn't place the guy. So
that's the issue I have with Marvel stuff is you have to read comics, watch TV series, know 15 or 20 movies ahead of time. They can't do
that. The only thing that actually we do need some explaining is why the fuck was Bo-Katan sitting that way?
For you, Bryant.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'm Mrs. Casual here. I'm gonna sit back to the side. You got the Darksaber now, and you're just being petty. I don't know. It was just one of those. You got to go to the abandoned planet where it's all blown up. But where's the water? It's underneath all the rubble. Okay, and then he just leaves. I don't know.
I have to laugh at you though because you brought up the Salacious Crumb. I had to look that up. I had no clue. That was a reference that I'm just
I only know because first off, it's funny because his name is not Salacious Crumb, it's Salacious B. Crumb. They gave him a middle initial, and because he's the guy with the high pitched laugh. He fucking from the original trilogy. He's one of my favorite characters. But other than that, the only other Star Wars knowledge I know from the original trilogies that's kind of obscure is space jazz called jizz. Just
That's the only fact you need to know.
Yeah, exactly. George Lucas, you know what you're doing.
It's kind of like, you're just ripping off the name. Can I copy your homework? Yes, but don't make it look like you copied my homework. It just changed one letter.
I mean, he could have. I mean, there were so many vowels. He could have made it jizz with a Y, and you've been like, well, it is what it is. Jaws, juzz. Nope. He just went letter for letter, jizz.
It's Star Wars. You could have made up any fucking word you wanted.
You could have called it Flurgendork, and we would know. Oh, space jazz makes sense.
There you go.
But you know what he used? Slang for sperm. What a creative mind that man has. Jesus Christ. Oh, anything else from Mando? Or we? I think we're all happy it's back. It was just one of those episodes. We're not going to get to the big adventure until 4 or 5 episodes in.
Happy to have Baby Yoda back.
Yep, we're gonna have a couple frog people. We need to get our babies across this frozen spider planet episodes before we get to the big one, So, but alrighty, well let's jump in. We can finally, with the Funcast we were alluding to, NFL news. Finally, what people tune in for us for here. Actually, you have XFL. It's funny, you don't even have anything in XFL, the games. You have what the hell is this guy's name? Quentin Dormady is one of the biggest fucking idiots I've ever heard of in sports. Just gave the other team his playbook.
How much did they pay him? Was it more than he would make in the game?
It had to have been money.
Yeah. I mean, I will be honest, man. Like, the best TikTok I've heard, or video, just media in general, about the XFL is like, these men are basically prostitutes. They know that their dream of playing in the NFL is most likely dead. Some of them, very minimal, have a chance. They're just kind of doing it for a paycheck, man. They're going out there, and that's exactly where, like, once he said it like that, I go, it makes sense for this guy. He's probably making, I think they're making what, $60K a year, which way better than what some of the. What are they making, Clark?
If they win out, they can make about 80 grand. Like, they get paid so much per team win, and then for like the playoffs and then winning it. And I think the max it can add up to is like 80 grand. Like, minimum, these guys are making 10 to 20,000 for the season. So the majority of these guys aren't going to break 20K this year.
Well, hold on. Average player is to earn about 60,000 from training camp through the end of the season. So I guess you'd have to play all the way through, and then worth an additional 20, in addition to paying for housing and 2 meals a day. They don't even pay for every meal of the day. They get 2, so you better eat up in those 2 free ones. But yeah, I mean, so actually, I don't.
That's the average. The average pay.
Okay, the average.
That's not the minimum.
There's going to be some that are making less, but him as a QB, he's going to be getting on the higher end. But I mean, even if, say, you're lower end, you're making 40,000 for how many weeks of work, and all you had to do was not be a dipshit and sell or give your playbook to the other team. If I was one of those other players, I would have beat his fucking ass. Like, here I am trying to make $80,000, and here you are just giving our secrets away, man. Like, what kind of competitor even does that?
There's just nothing to gain from that.
There's nothing to gain. You look like an absolute fucking idiot. If you wanted any chance of having another job in that field, they're not going to. Oh, you want to coach for us? Oh, you just want to take our plays, huh? And you're definitely not going to give it to the other team again like you did at your last job, huh? You're fucking going to be blackballed,
Stupid.
So, I guess it's like, what was he paid for it? It's not like these teams are getting to win these games like in the NFL. So, like, what was it worth to them?
Moose stuff.
What's moose stuff, Ryan?
Could be anything.
That's a Family Guy reference.
I mean, there's so much. There's so much stuff that is not going to be answered on this one, but it's going to drive me bonkers. I bet you we could tune in and Reddit in a couple weeks, and they have so many detectives on that website. I'm sure they'll get it figured out. But like,
Yeah,
that one just like secondhand. I could care less about the XFL. That's more like your word as a man and you as a competitor, and you don't want to just. I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way. I get it. Really, probably doesn't matter, but like,
it's still pretty stupid. So
Pretty-
stupid.
fucking low, man. But the only other note we have in here is Hakeem Butler, 3 weeks, 3 touchdowns. Like we said, he deserves a shot at the NFL. I think he's trying to earn a name for himself.
yeah. This is supposed to be like what's the other one, the AFL or the AAF?
USFL.
Mm-hmm.
FLs, yeah, you don't even know.
Come on, Trent. Where's the Maulers at?
Whereas this, like a farm team for an NFL, like for these guys to
Mm-hmm.
springboard up into the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't know if I see that happening rare in the USFL. So, but
Wasn't
I mean,
like
who knows?
Cavante
Like
Turpin
some of
was
those,
like the only player.
yeah, he had the most. I think after that too, but like I think is an NFL talent. He was coming out of college, the injury bug for a couple of years and fell out. But I don't know. Hopefully back there, get back to the NFL.
I feel like the percentage of players coming from the XFL and USFL is probably going to be pretty similar to the percentage of guys we see come from the college to the pros. Like it's going to be probably less than 1% that actually make that dream come true.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I mean, what are the big names in the NFL or the XFL? Josh Gordon is one of them.
Yeah.
Has been.
Yeah, he's not going into the NFL.
Yeah.
Ben DiNucci. He played for the Cowboys. He had TikTok fame, and now XFL.
Kyle Sloter, former.
See, I can't even
quarterback.
We can't even name any more players except for Hakeem Butler, and that's only because he went to Iowa State. If you went to any other college, I'm not name dropping him because he scored 3 touchdowns in the XFL.
You don't remember AJ McCarron and his super hot girlfriend from that
that's
national championship? Come on, Trent.
Dude,
What's
I look
his
back.
name?
AJ McCarron. Oh, Brett Musburger.
Brett Musburger. He remembers.
Yeah, because the whole thing came up again. Like, hey, remember AJ McCarron threw a game-winning touchdown? Remember his hot girlfriend? And it was all over. I mean, I'll be honest. I forgot how hot she was. Do you guys remember how hot she was when they showed her on national television? Like, everyone was not even mad at Brett Musburger. They go, makes sense. AJ.
I'm pretty sure AJ McCarron gained probably a few spots in the draft because of her. So
I mean, they go, clearly he's a winner. He is. Holy shit, she looks amazing. Now I'm trying to find the picture of her in the stands. Oh, this is a good one. This is the family of her now and like what she was when they showed her. Give me a second. Open image and new tab here. But yeah, I mean, other than that, there's not really. We XFL is kind of a joke. We're just kind of it's there if you need a football fix. You want to see some new crazy rules. I like the 4th and 15 play compared to onside kicking, which is nullified at this point. I mean, I think it's like less than 3% of onside kicks get recovered now. I mean, just make it a 4th and 15. We just won a game at this point, you know.
Was this a bad investment by The Rock?
So, yeah, I was kind of going to go there because, you know, with the USFL, we all thought this is a terrible product. Nobody, you know, and then people were like, well, but the XFL is coming. So, and people thought it's no different.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm sorry. I'm just showing Catherine Webb from when she was at the game. You look at that left picture, you're not blaming Brett Musburger 1 minute for basically being a cartoon wolf with his eyes popping out of his head, stomping on the table, howling at the moon. Look how fucking gorgeous she is, man. So
I'm gonna say The Rock's got money to burn. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
If The Rock was worried about his investments, he should worry about how he completely fucked up the Black Adam movie. Like, he can just not be a villain in any movie.
That's James Gunn's fault.
He wasn't even there. Get out of here with this shit.
The Rock's about to recoup everything or every bit that he wasted on Fast and Furious 10, Bryant. Jeez, come on.
I don't think him and Vin Diesel have made up yet.
Have they?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't think they had either. He's still upset that he's not in Fast and Furious 10, and they're brothers. They're La Familia, you know?
I love how the NBA just doesn't get that nobody really likes Vin Diesel, so they decided to go get him for their NBA All-Star introduction. Good choice. You didn't see that? You didn't see that? Like, you know how The Rock does like the promo for like the Super Bowl and stuff like that? Yeah, they got Vin Diesel to do their promo right before the NBA All-Star game, and yeah, he had to drop it's about family out there on the court. So
if you made a Venn diagram of Fast and Furious fans and NBA fans, I don't even know if those two cross. It's just two circles on a sheet.
I was gonna say all 6 people who watch.
I mean, I just saw the clip on Twitter, so that was about my exposure.
Find this statistic.
Can we agree Vin Diesel's best role is being Groot? Like, that's the most range he has shown in a movie, isn't it?
Not his best.
Someone hasn't seen the Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah, exactly.
All I remember from those movies was they're somehow in a desert world that had a super hot sun, and he had goggles for sunglasses. That's all I remember. It was a bad movie. But when you're in junior high, you don't know it's a bad movie until years later. So
yeah, that's the same with Pitch Black. That was so awesome back in the day. And
here's a statistic about NBA All-Star Game that I came across on Twitter. Clay Travis tweeted this. It says, crazy stat for you. In 1993, Salt Lake City hosted the NBA All-Star Game. 22.9 million people watched the All-Star. This year, 4.5 million people watched the NBA, lowest viewership ever. So the All-Star Game has lost 82% of its viewership in 30 years.
Yeah, they outviewed the Live Golf Tournament.
Yeah, that 29,000 that watched that week.
Greg Norman sitting at home was the only person. That's it.
Now, it would be interesting that because I think there's a few things that contribute to it. I think overall it's just one. I think the skills competition has taken over. This is the fun part. And no one gives a shit about a game that they do not. It's like the Pro Bowl they issued. They don't try in this game. It's who wants to jack up the most half-court shots, and it's not a good product. And I think they tried to fix that.
Yeah, it's a terrible product.
Yeah, and I think they tried to fix it, didn't they? It was okay, dick around for 3 quarters, and then 4th quarter we're going hard with first team to 30. I wish Joey was here because he actually could tell us that. But I know they're trying to spice things up. It would be interesting. So, because like you said, I think the game's absolute dog shit. I bet you if you compare, I bet you it's polar opposite. If there was even 1 million people watching skills competition back in the day or whatever the number is, I bet you the skills competition just gets that much more now. I think they publicize the slam dunk contest, the 3-point contest. I think that's a lot better now. But I agree. It's the All-Star game. Like, it's All-Star weekend and you don't watch the main event, you know?
Yeah.
It's the Oscars without the Best Actor award. Who the fuck cares who's got the best cinematographer, you know? So, but oh shit! How do we even get on an NBA rant? We didn't even have this thing on here.
And that's been XFL talk.
Yeah, that's XFL talk. Ended up being how bad the NBA is.
We talked about the Rock's investment,
XFL
which led
to the
Vin
Rock
Diesel, which led to the NBA All-Star Game. Come on.
There we go.
Following along?
Like it. Now let's just go.
It's a linear path. We all know.
Well, actually, the next natural for a bad TV product, I appreciate being able to watch the combine on TV, but that is just for me. It's that is a highlights only, and show me the three fastest people who are and the three people that did the best and or worst at the drill. I don't need to see every single person's every single run, dude. But
give me the 40-yard dashes.
Yeah. Speaking of someone that apparently everyone loved, and we have it on here, Anthony Richardson said stole the show. What I guess my confusion is, did everyone can see that he's workouts and he looks okay? Did they not watch him play actual college football?
Thank you.
The media who are talking about him have goldfish brains, Brian. They're not concerned about how he looked on game film. They're just, oh my God, did you see him? He's still fast. He's still fast.
Jump high.
He's going to be the best quarterback out there. He's so fast, Brian. Oh, he jumps real high. He's the best quarterback, Brian.
I know when I'm looking at credentials, I want my quarterback. They need to be able to jump very high, and they need to be able to do backflips, which were the two highlights that I saw from this weekend.
Which QB can win a dunk contest? That's the one that I want.
Now,
I mean,
just ignore the fact that he had a 50 percentage last year. Ignore it, and that translates.
Yeah,
translates nothing to the NFL. His 40 time.
He played one full season in college, and that was a mediocre season.
Yeah, he threw 25 touchdowns in 3 seasons. He threw 25 touchdowns and 15 interceptions, less than 3,100 yards. Next Patrick Mahomes,
easily.
You know,
but he led a team that definitely beat all the teams they're supposed to beat, right? Like Vanderbilt, they beat them, right?
Yeah, and they also beat Florida State. Oh, they lost to their rival. You know, well, he had that big upset versus Georgia this year. Oh, they lost to them too. Hey, I get it, and it's one of those. Well, those are the best teams in the country. So he can't compete versus the best teams in the country, and you think he's going to lead an NFL team?
We're saying Vanderbilt's the best team in the country right now.
I'm saying SEC in general.
Because
that's what everyone else says. But it just. The only thing that he can compare to himself and Patrick Mahomes is they wear the number 15 and they play the same position technically.
I compare it to Justin Fields, though. Justin Fields runs amazingly. He has a highlight reel of running that it's hard to compare. Mm-hmm. Show me his highlight reel of throwing. There isn't one. And maybe it's because Chicago has a terrible line and terrible wide receivers, but
contributes.
I'm sorry, but you look at the top QBs in the league, Mahomes, Burrow, Allen. They're throw first quarterbacks. They aren't run first quarterbacks.
And now, are we saying those wide receivers are terrible because our quarterback can't get them the ball, or are we saying that our quarterback's terrible because he can't get the ball to the wide receivers? Like that. That's a mutual type. It's like thing. If one's bad, the other's bad.
That's chicken and the egg.
Exactly. What is the reason for Chicago's bad passing game? Is it the quarterback? Is it the receivers? Or are they all bad?
I'm going to wash my mouth out with soap after this, but I mean, Joe Burrow has a dog shit line. Now, guess what? He also has he's got the best receiving core in the NFL. But guess what? With 2.4 seconds, he's getting the ball off, 90 out of 100 times. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you can't use the line and you can't use the receiver. Eventually, it's bad because me and Clark are so poisoned with having Mahomes. It's just that's our one comparison.
Nope.
But, we got rid of our best receiver. Kelsey's still here, but we got rid of our top receiver Hill. And guess what? He made Juju Schuster-Smith, MVS, Hardman. He had one of his best passing seasons with scrap parts, basically.
Brian, I would much rather just have a quarterback that can run their own QB sneak. What do you think about that? Like, they won't even hand him the ball in that situation because they're afraid he's going to fall apart. Like, his kneecap's going to bust out of the side of his leg again. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, he's like, when you look at him on the field, he seems to be one of the more unathletic guys of this elite class. But you look at what he does with the ball and the amount of knowledge is kind of behind it. Like, like where's that part of Richardson? That's the part you're going to see on game film, and that's the part that's not there.
Well, and the other thing was, look at these deep passes he's connecting. He's not throwing with pads. He's not throwing under pressure. He's not throwing with a defender receiver. His passes looked really nice. He throws a good deep ball. But what about in game time situations, such as, maybe a college football game? How does he do?
That is the one thing I've heard, and these are linemen talking as well, like previous NFL linemen. Oh yeah, he ran a 4.440, and that's all. Like you said, that's with no pads. That's with that's with no pressure. That's with nothing. Now, what happens when the line collapses? What happens when he has to make a play? What happens when this lineman that's already 300 pounds, this 20-pound additional weights doesn't hurt him as much? He's he's going to be able to he's not losing as much time as AR-15 is on a scramble, so how is that going to translate? I mean, this sounds mean.
It's like Dan.
Or actually, I won't say Jamarcus Russell, because I think he's probably got a little more talent. I think it's probably closer to like Terrell Pryor. I think he could be okay. But if he gets into a bad situation like Terrell Pryor with the Raiders, he's not going to thrive. He was not in the greatest situation behind Emory Jones in Florida last year. This was his time to shine and lift them above. And you could argue their best win was at home, last minute victory versus Utah.
Yeah, and it's everyone's falling in love with. What?
Did you see Dan Campbell's combine? He said it's asking about grade, and Dan Campbell said, to me, you grade them off the tape. You don't grade off somebody a 40-yard dash in their pajamas.
I think most would agree, and that's the problem. Right now, he's the hype boy pick of the combine. Ben Lieber, Vikings linebacker, tweeted out how high and far QB can jump at the combine is so irrelevant. I think he's the only media person that has said anything like that. I'm sorry. Give me Kirk Cousins until he's 40 before you give me Richardson.
I've said the same thing about wired linemen running a 40-yard dash. They should be doing a 5-10 meter dash, and how quick they get off the line. That should be the measurement. I can't remember what lineman was. It was an Oklahoma lineman. He pulled his hammy or something happened. He got injured doing a 40-meter dash. It's like, what the fuck do we even care if he can run 40 meters? He needs to be able to be 2 yards in front of him and make contact faster than the other and get underneath them. Who gives a shit if he can dash 40 meters? Oh, even overall, just in one burst, 40 yards. Who cares?
Yeah.
Does anybody think that the kind of top 3 quarterbacks that are being hyped in this quarterback class are going to be worth a damn? I'm talking Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young. Any of them?
I think CJ Stroud.
Okay.
I feel good about him. Bryce Young, it worries me that he's not willing to throw.
So you think the guy who looks up to Deshaun Watson
That's
and
a
Michael
different
Vick
story.
is going to be the best guy?
His mentality may not be great, but as far as talent goes, I mean, you don't have to be the brightest person.
I'm still curious if he just sees himself as that style of quarterback, or if he's truly looking up to those guys and their life decisions. I still think that quote is kind of out of context. Like, who does he see himself kind of resembling is probably the better context. But it's still
with that. It's nothing that we're going to be able to understand as him being a young black male looking at black role models. But it's like, dude, could you have not said Donovan McNabb? Could you have not said? I mean, honestly, could you not said Patrick Mahomes or someone like if you needed a younger Jalen
Hurts?
I mean, could you have not said anyone except for the dog fighter and then the serial sexual assaulter? I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. Do you not have? If you don't have, first off, Ohio State has a specific program in their NIL with this has all been shaping up that it specifically deals with PR stuff. If they don't, they need to start it up now and go, hey, remember when CJ said that really stupid shit on national media? Just don't do that. We're going to give you 1,000 scenarios. Think of people that are not going to make people raise their eyebrows and go, what'd you say? Is your favorite running back O.J. Simpson? I mean, geez.
Follow up. How many massages do you get in a year?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that is just like, dude.
Ray Rice and O.J. Simpson.
You know what? I've literally, well, my whole life wanted to be really getting to stand up. My favorite is Bill Cosby. I mean, Jesus Christ! Like, could you not think? Like, we're not going to only think of Mike Vick as a quarterback. You're going to think of him as his whole life, and you just shit the bed on that answer, dude.
Yeah, and you know what? Even I can even forgive Michael Vick. He did his time. He seems to be a productive person. But Deshaun Watson, seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, he's grown up, and I guess if we want to be real frank, he is giving very honest answers because who would lie about that? But, like, man, think.
Who do you think's going to go number one? Did Bryce Young hurt his stock?
I was going to say Jalen Carter before he got arrested for drag racing in association to his teammate getting killed. So that'll knock him all the way down to 4. But I don't know, man. Like, so who does have number 1? Oh, yeah. It's the Bears, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, who's the first QB that's going to go?
Yeah, more importantly, first QB, Bryce Young. I think he's the safest bet, man.
Richardson.
I mean, honestly, I would never get over.
I think if they're truly looking at tape, it's probably gonna be Bryce.
Yeah, Will. They talk about Will Levis. That's another one where it's just like prototypical size. We're just gonna make it work. Because like, did you watch film this year? He went back to the exact same bowl. He didn't improve his team at all, and he lost to Iowa. He didn't play in the bowl game. Fuck, I forgot about that. But I don't know, man.
And Kentucky isn't a great football team.
No,
I mean, you can trash him for what his team accomplished all you want. Patrick Mahomes did not come from the best team out there.
Yeah,
he didn't win the national championship. He wasn't winning the Heisman.
Trust Bryant and I. We know.
Yeah, couldn't even beat Iowa State. Jeez.
Yeah.
Couldn't come within 56 points of Iowa.
But there is I think there's a difference between being drafted by the NFL's number 1 quarterback guru that improves people and where any one of those guys is going to get drafted at. You know, because I think all the NFL, like I would say QB gurus right now, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, all of them. I mean, you could say Doug Peterson. He's got T-Law. Reed has Mahomes. I would only say Zach Taylor makes enough coaching. He coaches and makes that team better, you know, overall. But I mean, I can't think of any of the Colts. They make every quarterback fucking worse that goes there. They've had how many starters and all pros that have gone there 4 straight years, and it just dog shit results. Texans, terrible.
D'Amico Ryans is a defensive specialist. So
yeah. So I don't know if he's got the right people around him, but I don't know. Going back to the original question, I think it's just Bryce. I think CJ. I'm not going to get over Ohio State quarterback hype. You know, being hyped up on this is the one that breaks the mold. Justin Fields is only doing that with his legs right now. A little bit with his arm. We'll have to see it this year. Will Levis, I think that's bullshit, and I think AR-15 Anthony Richardson, I think he's bullshit too.
Yeah, I really hope he doesn't fall and the Vikings take him. I mean, I will support whoever they pick, and if he's on the Vikings, he'll have my full support. But to me, that is the worst case scenario. We only have 4 picks this year, and our offense isn't the problem. So if we throw in Anthony Rich,
where are your picks at?
Well, he's for fast and can jump high. Maybe he can play defensive back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, he could replace. Is Kyle Rudolph still on your team?
No, he's not.
Did he play for the?
He got TJ Hawk.
Yeah, I don't think he made the whole season with them.
No.
Or else he's.
They got Hawkinson and they got Irv Smith Jr. Baby, they don't need another tight end.
I'm going to assume AR isn't going to make it to 23, but you never know.
Irv Smith, the only tight end with bones as fragile as Tony Moiaki.
Damn. You mentioned on here QBs running faster 40s than wide receivers.
Cornerbacks.
Cornerbacks.
Is there or cornerbacks? Sorry.
That link that I have on there is.
I'll be honest, I didn't look at that. Is there anyone in particular you're looking at there on that?
Well, it's just the top people. First, the fastest was DJ Turner, 4.26. He's cornerback from Maryland, 4.3. Then we had a running back. Then we have a wide receiver from Nebraska, Trey Palmer, 4.33. Then another cornerback from Maryland, 4.35. Another cornerback, 4.35. And then two more down, it's a running back and wide receiver, followed by two more cornerbacks at 4.36. So it's a fast cornerback class.
That DJ Turner,
I can see that too. Just quarterback's body type is a smaller, shorter, like a sprinter. Where a lot of times, these guys that they're not quite as quick.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a position we need.
Well, and I mean with that 4.2, with that 4.26, I mean you're going to be able to make up some speed as well. If anything gets underthrown, you can catch up. You're obviously going to be the one that can make up on the play. But I'll be honest, there's some super fast cornerbacks and wide receivers in this draft. I was getting more shocked at Riley Moss, that Iowa cornerback, the white cornerback that was running super fast. Who is the lineman? Jack Campbell had a really good time on his 40 for Iowa. I think McDonald did all right. I don't think he had anything outlandish, but there's so many that Nolan Smith for Georgia. He was a D end, and I think he ran a 4.44.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a man that is 100, probably 75, 100 pounds heavier than everyone that was listed in the fastest times, and he was a 1/10 of a second slower than them. I mean, that kid is going to be a fucking beast.
Yeah. Max Duggan, 4.5.
Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
How can
I'm on the Max Duggan hype train. Give me him at a fifth round pick if he makes it there.
Yep.
He's sitting behind Kirk for a season or two. He's raw, but he can move around. Just turn him into the next Josh Allen. We want a quarterback that will give the ball away at important times.
I don't know if we're going to consider ourselves media, Anthony.
There's only one answer to this, fellas. Anthony Richardson.
I mean, I think he fits the Vikings mold perfectly. If you need a guy that's going to lose in the biggest moments of the year, he proved it twice this year versus Kansas State and Georgia.
Yeah.
Perfect.
He's your guy. Perfect. He's
already
used to wearing purple. Yeah, I mean,
we don't make it to the big moments. we lose in the wild card round. That's not the big moments, Brian.
Yeah. When it matters most at that moment. Yeah, it's the lose and go home, and he's like, you know what, I got a plane to catch. Let's get on out of here. Fucking. Oh shit, Gino.
Why don't we go with Stetson Bennett?
Yeah, honestly, the worst thing is just age. He is solid. You've got 4 less years with him than any other quarterback at that point.
Yeah, but we need to make sure he gets through his trial.
Yeah, he's kind of.
What do you see that there's been like 9 Georgia players arrested in the last year or something like that?
Yeah. Hey.
That's
banners fly forever, though, my friend.
It just means more.
Yeah, it just means more.
Whatever the crime is, it means more.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, I mean, Jalen Carter, speaking of which, he did, he served his time. He went in at, I think it was 11:30 on that night when he was, when the warrant was out for his arrest, and he had to serve a whole 16 minutes in jail before bond was posted. So, yeah, I mean, he learned his lesson. Just insane, man. Let's see here. Seahawks, Geno Smith, 3 years, $105 million. I mean, is that going to push him over the edge? I personally don't think so, but
happened right.
Good for Geno, man.
There he is.
The powers that be didn't like my Georgia joke.
Yeah, I would agree, Clark. Good on Gino. I don't think this is a move that really stirs the pot at all. Not like the bigger QB signing, Derek Carr going to the Saints.
I don't think it stirs the pot, but I think Seattle's got the guy they want. Like he meshes well up there. So
Seattle quarterback in that conference by
until
that
Brock
far.
That's just because Brock's out.
No, what?
Brock Purdy. Oh shit! You're talking about Derek
The
Carr.
Saints have the best quarterback now.
Yeah.
No, in that conference. Sorry, we're getting confusion. We're talking about Geno Smith. Good for him. Next subject: Derek Carr to the Saints. Derek Carr, best quarterback in the NFC South. Is what you're saying?
Yes, in the division. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Until Anthony
Richardson. Yeah. Brock Purdy's the best. Anthony Richardson, guys, come on.
Get the fuck over him. I'm tired of talking about a nobody. Jesus. God. I think it was the best move for Derek Carr. You get out of a division with Mahomes and Herbert, and you get to be the best quarterback in one of the shittier divisions in football, and you're going to be overpaid. I mean, it's a win-win-win.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think the contract was too bad, though.
What are the numbers?
It's 4 years, 150, I think.
Did you see how much he can make in the first year?
A lot.
It's over 50.
Yeah. But if they have the cap space.
Hey.
They don't.
Well, then never mind. It's a bad decision.
With Joey not here, I can truly say this. We're all blessed to have good quarterbacks on our teams here. And you hear about Derek Carr as in the realm of making $50 million in 1 year. What in the fuck is... I mean, the Browns and Deshaun fucked this whole QB market where we're thinking that a Daniel Jones deserves more than $33 million a year. We're thinking Derek Carr should have incentives up to $50 million a year. Here are a couple stats that I had put down on the sheet so I could have them here. They're going from Andy Dalton, who is 35 years old. He's getting a little older. No playoff wins, and before that, he was coming off a 6-8 season the previous season, so he had a losing record. And they go, we need to mix things up a bit. We're going to go out and we're going to pay $50 million potentially this year to Derek Carr, who is 31 years old, so he's 4 years younger. Has the same amount of career playoff wins at 0. And he did a little better. He went 6-9 in his previous season. Like, you're just paying the same guy, but you're just going to overpay him. I mean, the Saints have to win that division. Otherwise, they're going to look like fucking idiots. And Derek Carr won't have an excuse anymore on saying, well, it was the Raiders.
I was going to say, so this is, not Derek Carr anymore, but I was going to say maybe Atlanta can sneak Lamar Jackson down there. But now I'm seeing in the last couple hours that they're going to use the franchise tag on.
Yeah.
Which, does Lamar play?
What's that?
Does Lamar play if he's tagged? He wants a deal, but I don't know.
I think they said the franchise tag is at the worst outcome. That if they can't come to a long-term deal, they're going to franchise tag him. So
he does. I don't know. Is he willing to play on a franchise tag? Is the big thing. That's a hypothetical, but
I think I was watching Bomani Jones, and he said it best: is this is going to show once and for all that as much as players don't want to pay 10% of their contract or deal, whatever, to an agent, this is why you need agents. You need to be able to have someone take information where they basically say, we're going to undercut you because you don't perform good or just blatantly you suck. And then your agent goes, how am I going to filter this to my client? Hey, Lamar, they say you kind of underperformed here, and they pretty it up a little bit. And if anything, they probably go a few rounds back and forth before they even get to the prettying up the deal to Lamar. I feel
that,
like
or you have somebody who can talk to other teams when you're not allowed to.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, 100% right there, Clark. I think this is going to show that players like, hey, what I should just be focused on improving me at this point. My agent worries about improving my life.
I totally forgot he's representing himself.
Yeah. Do you not think the Ravens are going, hey, without you, without you, we only lost by 3 in the playoffs, so we're pretty damn close, actually. Why do we overpay for you? Why are you a top 3, top 5? Was it because you won an MVP in the 1 year where Mahomes probably outplayed you? I mean, you got to think if you're in the AFC, that's who you're competing. You actually don't even say Mahomes. You have to get out of your division with Joe Burrow. Why are we overpaying for you when we almost beat him without you?
Because your rival overpaid for Deshaun Watson. That's why you have to overpay for me.
I don't want to think about it, but I mean that we're not even thinking about how the Browns could legit be good if Deshaun stops being himself in the offseason and gets a year under his belt there.
This is where, I mean, and he could be just talking crap, but this is where I'm happy with Justin Jefferson, where he has his agent. And whenever he's asked about contract stuff, he's like, dude, that's what he's for. I'm just here to win games. That's what I'm about. And again, it could be him just talking crap, but at least there's no drama around his signing.
Correct. Speaking of drama-free, Aaron Rodgers. I'm just kidding. I don't care.
Has he seen a shadow?
Did he see a shadow or?
No. Stephen A. Smith, last time they brought it up on TV, he was pretending to nap and snore out loud. I mean, no one cares, Aaron. Just like, I mean, in one, it's the media trying to create a story. It's like the same thing they always do with LeBron. Dude, we're fucking over it. Just, are you going to play for the Packers or not? Do not tell us anything different because I think it's going to be a few more days. No one cares about this show anymore, dude.
At least
I thought he said whenever he came out, he was going to have his decision. What happened?
Didn't he Aaron Rodgers full of shit? Didn't he tell Pat that it was going to be like beginning of April that he'll have his decision made?
I heard he's got to wait until the Epstein list comes out so he can review it, do his own research, and then he's gonna make his decision on his playing future.
There's so much, and I hope Green Bay just becomes a dumpster fire. But there is so much on this decision because are we going with Jordan Love? Are we going with Aaron Rodgers? Are we paying for Aaron Rodgers? What are we doing? And this guy has them handcuffed. Like,
well, he has them handcuffed, and he has at least a couple other suitors handcuffed. Like the Jets are interested, the Raiders are interested. Like those guys are also sitting around waiting. Like, hey, are we gonna have to position ourselves to draft a quarterback? Do we need to be looking at free agents, possibly making trades, or is Aaron coming here? We definitely want Aaron. We got to wait for Aaron to make his decision. So like those teams are also handcuffed as well.
Yeah, and I know if he does stay with Green Bay, Jordan Love's going to want out, so they're going to have to figure out something with him.
Is Jordan Love at the end of his rookie contract?
Last year, I believe.
Sweet.
So yeah, you're going to have another team taking a flyer on trading for him. Who knows what they'll have to give up, and he could be a complete flop. Or he could be awesome. We don't know.
Or it could be the best thing since Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre.
Yep.
Usually franchises only get to draft 2 generational back-to-back quarterbacks, and then they decline, i.e. the Indianapolis Colts went from Peyton Manning one off year straight to fucking Andrew Luck for a few years till they broke him. So fingers crossed that's what happens to the Packers, I suppose.
Yes, please. My whole life has been Packers success. I'm tired of it.
Last things we have here. I did laugh at. We don't have to focus too much on it. Tennessee football, Tennessee Titans are saying, we play hard-nosed football here. Everyone wants to have the Golden State. They want to score a lot of points early in the season. You need to be able to run the ball like we do in January and February, or December and January. And it's like, you lost your last 7 games in a row. I don't think you could talk shit about how you play late in the year when it proved that with no passing game, everyone put fucking 10 in the box and said, prove you're going to pass it, and you couldn't, I just thought that was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen.
You had that on here. I thought it was in reference to the fact that I saw that they were shopping Derrick Henry.
Yeah, they're getting rid of their one weapon that they can run with. I mean,
full of smash mouth football, yet we're going to get rid of the best smash mouth running back in the NFL.
Yeah, okay. We're going to get rid of the all-star on the team. I mean, Makes no damn sense, dude.
Speaking of getting rid of all-stars, the Chiefs. The Chiefs. Why have they not signed any of their all-stars, Bryant?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you said it best earlier. We're not re-signing Frank Clark. He still has that like gun issue. I really don't know what's going on with that. So until that one gets solved, I'm kind of okay with it. I hate to say it, but I mean, cap hit was like $21 million.
Him and Ja Morant hanging out or what?
Yeah, him and who was that dipshit on the Raiders that did that as well? There's so many. Dude, I mean, I'm sorry. If you're an athlete, why do you not just have a buddy that holds the gun for you, man? Like, and also don't go on Instagram Live and hey, look at my concealed. I mean, like,
don't threaten 17-year-olds at a basketball game. Pick up basketball game.
It's I think Paul Pierce talked about that a little bit. He's like, you got to protect yourself out there. I agree. But
wait, are we talking about Paul Pierce, the guy who's doing cocaine off his strippers?
Yeah, but he never threatened anybody with a gun.
The same Paul Pierce?
Yeah, I mean, the same
this
Paul
guy's,
Pierce.
This guy's giving life advice now? What?
Well, he was the same one that pooped his pants in that one basketball game, but like, he was smart enough not to brandish a gun, also show a gun on Instagram Live, and also beat up a minor. I was like, could you make any stupider decision? I'm not. I don't even want to get into that because I don't know the full details. I just know he's had a very bad last week or so.
Yeah. Yes.
Steven Adams can't save him now.
No, exactly. Not in the real world.
I look up to Deshaun Watson and Michael Vick.
Yeah, feel like the same thing. But no, Chiefs didn't sign Frank Clark. I was kind of okay with it. They are talking about potentially franchising, but I think they're trying to get a long-term deal with Orlando. I almost said Orlando Bloom. Orlando Brown.
They've been trying to get a long-term deal with him for like 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, he played all year, but I think what the Chiefs are going to do, and they've been doing it with quite a few people, is they're going to go, all right, why don't you just shop around and you get your money and you come back to us and we'll counteroffer. And then when he goes, well, you're not paying me as much, he goes, well, we have Patrick Mahomes, and then you can go play for whoever else. And
we're not paying you as much, but you're going to make that Super Bowl and playoff bonus money. So
yeah, I mean, I would think I think that's where we've gotten lucky on quite a few free agent signings, and it's what the Patriots did. Why do you think Randy Moss signed with them? Why do you think everyone else signed team-friendly deals? Because they want to win, So I don't know. Again, in Veach, I trust. If he thinks we can have a suitable backup or a suitable left tackle that can come out of nowhere, all right, I trust you, man. He's playing 4D chess out there.
Here's what I worry about for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
That Kansas City defense is what won you that championship. The whole season.
Okay. Yeah, there's the laugh at the end. I was like, I mean, they did what they needed to. Again, they had the second most sacks in the year. I know they created a lot of pressure, and Frank came up huge in the playoffs. But, I mean, I think you're starting to see when we have 3 rookie corners that contributed, and Karlaftis. I always get his name wrong, but Karlaftis.
The Greek freak.
The Greek freak. He contributed. I mean, I just trust them being able to get some solid rookies and enough role players that are going to play for not cheap but manageable money. Because everyone knows we got to pay Mahomes, but I mean,
you have to though.
Yeah, but his hit isn't as huge as what everyone thought it was going to be 4 years ago, and now you can just kind of, we got Isaiah Pacheco for super cheap. Half our line is super cheap right now. Our quarterbacks are super cheap. We can overpay for, we don't have a true number one or whoever, wide receiver. We can overspend on that. We're making the moves to make the pieces work right now. So.
Yeah, the score for the Super Bowl was 38-35. It was definitely not Frank Clark that won it.
But they did just enough to stop him a couple times. So yeah. I will always give him that.
Frank Clark was flying around, man. He did have some big plays.
Yeah.
But speaking of, casualties, I think the Vikings had a couple here as well, possibly.
Yeah, Eric Kendricks got dropped. That's a big one, although he's kind of dropped off the last 2 years, but he's one of the better linebackers they've had in their franchise history. And I just don't see Adam Thielen still being with the team.
I think you said earlier, he's going to have to restructure, dude.
$20 million would be his contract this year.
Yes. Sorry, Adam.
And like, I get his frustration. He says he wants to be a bigger part of the game plan, I guess. Well, you're across from Justin Jefferson. It's just,
Yeah. I want to be a bigger part of the game plan. That's the game plan on the other side of the field. You just take up one cornerback and we'll be fine, you know?
Yeah. You want to be a bigger part, but you got Justin Jefferson. KJ Osborne had some huge receptions this last year, and they went and got TJ Hawkinson. Like, you're looking like 4 deep, possibly even going to be behind, 5 at the running back, whoever's that option. Like, I don't see him getting a whole lot more time at all.
no.
Right behind Kenane Wadu, Iowa State legend.
I'm hoping so. Again, I love Dalvin Cook, but that is a lot of money also. So hopefully, in when Quessy had his combine interview, did not seem very confident with Cook being around or restructuring.
Well, the last I think it's like 10 to 12 years. You know what the highest anyone's ever paid in 1 year for a running back? It was when the Seattle Seahawks paid Percy Harvin, who was also a slot, so he was kind of that Dexter McCluster when everyone was trying to make them play multiple positions. He got paid $2.5 million. You're not going to win when you overpay a running back when you can get 80% of the production for 25% of the cost.
Yeah,
you know.
And this is a strong running back draft too. So,
I mean, I'm sorry, I always have to allude back to the Chiefs. The Chiefs starting running back and solid contributor in the Super Bowl was a 7th rounder from Rutgers. You can, if you have the right system and the right running back, you can get them for super cheap when their legs are fresh. And then the sad reality of the market is once they hit 27, 28, if they're very good, they become a Jerick McKinnon and they get a medium deal. You're going to have your very 1% all-stars and Derrick Henry and Zeke. But look at those teams. They have absolutely struggled and they can't pay the linemen to protect you where you got all those yards.
Yeah, they paid Zeke all that money and he's had a quick downfall too.
Yeah.
It's because their line went downhill. They couldn't afford to pay their linemen.
Yeah.
Yep. All the money went to Dak. All of it went to Zeke. And I think they're both pretty solid, but they don't have the lines that made them great.
This is where you and I mean I've never played running back, so who knows what I'm talking about. But this is where I feel like you can actually find an athlete, unlike AR-15, and actually put him into a system, say, do this and be successful.
Just so you know, Ryan, we're 3 white guys with a podcast that have never played at least college level sports. We know exactly what we're talking about, talking running backs here.
Yeah. I don't know.
Come on.
I understand financials.
There you go. Yeah. If there's one thing I know, it's money, and I know they're overpay. A lot of teams overpay for running back aren't going to do too well. So
and a 31-year-old wide receiver that wants to have as big of an impact as the best receiver in the NFL.
I would love for him to come back if he restructures the deal, but again, that's where it's like you got to realize your productivity is not going up, dude. It maybe some team overpays for you, but what is the absolute high end for Adam Thielen? My greatest year, and I could go anywhere in like 1,200 yards.
He still thinks he can be a leading receiver, and somewhere maybe he can, but the front, like I love the guy. I'm I really hope we can keep him and have him retire as a Viking. But man, there were so many plays these last 2 years. He gets tackled and he's limping off the field. Almost every game that happened, and you never know if he would return. And it's
if you want me to be, go ahead.
I know where he could be the leading receiver.
Kansas City.
The New York Football Giants. They need some help.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
I think they'd love him there too. Have a solid, very slow slot receiver. I mean, this is instead of Victor Cruz, it's Victor Meander. He's just kind of matriculating down the field. They'll get him. He'll do a little salsa dance. What's the white version of a salsa dance? He do like Cotton Eye Joe or something in the end zone. That is an excellent spot where he'd get overpaid for production there, Clark, for sure, dude.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are more teams that would take him, but he's Man, I hate to be realist, but he's not a number one anymore.
If you want me to be kind of negative for who I would rather have instead of Adam Thielen right now, I'd rather take another chance on Josh Gordon or a chance on Calvin Ridley, who just sat out the whole year for gambling, knowing that he's going to gamble again. You don't just stop gambling, my friend.
He called that 1-800 number, and he's fine now.
He wised up and got himself a freaking handler. Come on.
I'm going to have to send you guys a video. It's funny because we talk about how we're all-star gamblers here. It literally shows if you bet every, and this is one tracked mind here, but every statistic, if you bet every favorite, every underdog, every over, every under, every ever covering the spread, for the favorite and covering the spread as a underdog, every single one, if you just bet that one way since 1994, you've lost money. If you the winning as an underdog had a winning record, it was like 2,600 and 2,500, and you're still negative $800 overall. You bet $100 in every game. Like gambling, like that should be. I hope Calvin Ridley sees that is my point, so that he knows not to gamble. But I would rather gamble on him than Thielen, to be honest. I'm not trying to be mean, but
no,
I think he passes prime.
I do too, and I hate saying it, but
he had a lot of solid years, dude. It's just I think a lot of these guys, the athlete's ego, which I do not have because I am not an athlete. I'm more realist. Like maybe I should sign the what's his contract for? You said 20 million.
Yeah, right under 20.
I don't know what a middle market wide receiver, but 8. Do a 2-3 year, $16 to $24 million deal. I think that would seem fair. You're not overpaying for him. He's not busting the cap. You're still getting paid that much, $500,000 a game.
Yeah,
I mean, like that.
You can live off of that, and he has made a lot of money.
Maybe.
Yeah. What was it, Spreewell back in his prime when he played for Minnesota? I can't feed my family off of $7 million. What the heck?
Oh my god! Like of all markets, you could say that in New York, and people would be like, Brooklyn.
But we're talking 15, 20 years ago. You can do pretty good at $7 million anywhere.
Yeah, I'm sure fucking anywhere in Minneapolis. You know what other people aren't doing where they're saying they're not going to the club and spending thousands every weekend too. That probably saves you a few bucks.
Yeah.
But shit. I don't know. I don't think we got any other NFL news, do we? Do we want to shit on any more teams here?
Atlanta, Joey's not here to.
First mock draft had Will McDonald IV from Iowa State being drafted by it, and I think Joey secretly punched his TV screen, said it was all right, but if they choose a cyclone and break a 50-year streak of no first-round picks by a team, and Atlanta goes and breaks that, he will be upset. I don't care what he says, he will be ever so slightly.
He's looking for a quarterback, isn't he?
Yeah. I bet you he was actually pretty upset. I would be upset if I had Mariota as my quarterback. He quit on the team, and then the all-star I wanted, the 2 all-stars I wanted, Derek Carr not so much, goes to one of your rivals in the division, and then Lamar is pretty much guaranteed going back to the Ravens. I'd be furious right now if I was Joey.
Yeah.
But it's
there's not a whole lot of options out there anymore.
It's Ritter time.
Maybe he has a good off-season of training.
Fingers crossed, my friend. We'll watch that quarterback show for Netflix, and we'll see how good it goes.
I don't know Joey's thoughts on AR-15, but maybe they can get AR-15.
Don't put that on Joey. Why would you do that, my friend? Come on.
Yeah, but he's a big Justin Fields guy. He's basically getting the same person.
I think he'd be legitimately. He'd be 100% fine. He would be ecstatic ripping through his zipper for C.J. Stroud.
Oh yeah,
even without what he said. I mean, Joey's a Ohio State believer, and I don't blame him. He sees them win the Big Ten every year. I can't get over how one quarterback has had a decent year in Justin Fields a couple years ago. Terrell Pryor's best season was when he was a 1,000-yard receiver for the Raiders. I mean, they're not good. When they get to the NFL, that is.
Yeah, they're not NFL.
But neither are the Alabama quarterbacks. So,
yeah,
that's true, except for Jalen Hurts. But he went to Oklahoma, and I'm going to say that's Big 12 until.
we forget Joe Burrow, big Ohio State guy.
Oh yeah, shit. Never mind. Disproven. That's oh shit. Well, let's wrap it up here. Jesus, we are almost at 2 hours. This was a long one, but I thought it was a fun one. I kind of like the
Yep.
TV show first hour here. So,
Yep.
but we do appreciate everyone joining us here. Again, our socials, if you want to follow us, they're at the bottom of the video if you're watching on YouTube. But Instagram, Twitter, Twitch at Heartland Pulse, Facebook, YouTube, Pulse of the Heartland. In the zone.studio for our articles, Joey does a weekly blog. I know they have a lot more combine and NFL stuff they talk about. We try and do live Monday, Wednesdays, Thursdays. Kind of depends on our schedule, but we do amateur hour sports talk on Thursdays typically. Funcast more on Mondays and Wednesdays. Right now, lately is going to be struggle for par. I know we do a couple betting ones as well, but that'll probably be taken up the most part. But yeah, appreciate if you did get to the end of this one. Appreciate you guys, and we'll chat with you next time.
Thank you.